Uh, Greetings and good afternoon. Thank you for attending the Learning Loops Integrating Assessment Discovery into Training Development session. My name is Iman Nelson. I will be moderating the session. Our speaker will present for 30 to 35 minutes and no Q&A for this session due to the presentation being recorded already. The session has to end at 3:45. If you have any questions for the presenter, please feel free to contact the presenter directly at the email listed either on the last slide or the Office of University Assessment by email. They will gladly give the presenter email. As a friendly reminder, this session is being recorded. When you register for the conference, you provided consent for recording. If you do not want your likeness to be published, please feel free to turn off your cameras right now. At the moment, with all that being said, I will turn it over to the presenter to give an introduction and a presentation. So this is Rika Callahan. She is the Chief Compliance and Ethics Officer at FAMU AM University. So I'm gonna go to the next slide. So she's gonna start it off for us.
Hello and happy
My bad.
Assessment Day. I am Rika Calhoun, Chief Compliance and Ethics Officer for Florida A&M University, and I will be your guide through this session on the Learning Loop, integrating assessment discoveries into training development. Now close your eyes. That's right, close your eyes. Imagine you're a navigator charting a course through unexplored territories. Each step forward is informed by the terrain you've just crossed, what worked, what didn't, and what you learned. So just like navigation, the process of training and development is a continuous journey, one that thrives on adaptation and learning. So today, in our world of education and training, we find ourselves often revisiting and revising the paths we have taken, much like a navigator adjusting their course based on new information. But we have a tool in our arsenal that is pivotal, yet underutilized, and that is assessment. So consider the last training session that you conducted or attended. What feedback was gathered? Was it integrated into future training? Often, we collect this data, but it remains just numbers and words in a report, seldom breathed into life within the training itself. So open your eyes. And today, I want to transform how we view and use these assessments through the evolution of our mandatory compliance program here at FAMU called FAMU Fundamentals. We'll explore not just the what and the how of integrating feedback, but the profound why behind it. So we'll delve into methods that harness these insights, turning them into powerful tools for enhancing your training programs and creating an ever-evolving and improving loop of education. So some key takeaways for today's session. I want to provide you with information on techniques for effectively gathering and analyzing assessment data, strategies for translating assessment findings into actionable training improvements, best practices for creating a responsive and adaptive training environment, and insights into the practical benefits of the learning loop approach. So first we'll start with our journey. The evolution of FAMU's compliance training process is a story of technological advancement and adaptation. So I started my position in February 2018 as Chief Compliance and Ethics Officer. And so one of the key components of an effective compliance and ethics program is education. So I immediately began working on developing a compliance and ethics training program that highlighted key compliance topics for faculty, staff, and select student employees. The first iteration of FAMU Fundamentals consisted of courses on Clery, sexual harassment, prevention, and Title IX, governance, and that included compliance, audit, and public records, and cybersecurity. So between 2019 and 2021, we embraced the Qualtrics platform capabilities to launch this suite of trainings. So for each course, we integrated the information as images in the survey and asked assessment questions at the end. So we made PowerPoint slides into images and inserted them as media into the survey. And then we added assessment questions at the end. Using Qualtrics helped us streamline our enrollment process because we could easily drop in the distribution list through our institutional account. So when the training period opened, which is always between March 1st and 31st of each year, there needs to be a defined time frame for training as a best practice. Participants then would receive their unique links via email to access their training courses. So this system ensured that training was never more than a click away, and it was even available on mobile devices. And we benefited from Qualtrics' awesome analytics, which allowed us to track user engagement and progress down to how long participants were actually in each course. And yes, there were participants who could take a course in less than a minute. However, there were challenges. So we faced hurdles in managing the individual unique links for our participants and ensuring that our analytics were tailored to their completion of each course. Participants also expressed their own challenges in keeping up with their sign-in information. Then compatibility issues became an issue, so that prompted us to seek a more seamless solution. So fast forward to 2022, and we've transitioned to the Canvas platform. That's our learning management system. So as with Qualtrics, users are already enrolled through Canvas, and many participants, especially faculty, use it every day. We were able to develop the courses individually, which populated on users' Canvas dashboard, and the learning experience has been significantly enriched. Canvas's integrated analytics tools, such as the gradebook, provide us with real-time insights into user progress and course efficacy. Additionally, we've introduced badges and certificates, not just as symbols of achievement, but as tangible rewards that acknowledge the effort and time our users commit to their learning and development. So our training objectives have always centered on identifying core compliance and ethics areas. And these areas are identified by analysis of different data points that we will discuss, stakeholder engagement and working with compliance partners who provide content and presentations of their subject matter each year. We also prioritize engagement and relatable ways to convey the material, which leads us to focus on including elements and scenarios and presentation that are FAMU-centric, as we call it, to resonate with our training participants. We also regularly check for and address accessibility needs. So that could be different learning styles or providing straight accommodations, right? So for example, our plant operations and maintenance team do not regularly work with technology or in offices. So to meet them where they are, based on that feedback, we coordinate with POM to schedule classroom space to present each of the courses and assessments to POM staff over several sessions. So while we keep cornerstone topics like some of the ones we discussed previously, FAMU Fundamentals is refreshed and unique each year. So our training calendar begins in September or October, depending when I meet with content holders to discuss data points and finalize the topics that we're going to address each year. This time coincides with many of our annual reports, so we have several different data points to pull from. And that includes data from investigations of complaints reported to the Compliance and Ethics Hotline, post-training survey feedback that we administer each year, new and changing regulation and legislation requirements, and operational changes. We are also always keeping an eye on how to make the training more engaging, and we leverage technology to do that. So we partner with our illustrious School of Journalism and Graphic Communication to produce many of our training videos. We also leverage Canvas to incorporate interactive elements such as quizzes and scenarios to test participants' knowledge. So for FAMU Fundamentals, participants must score at least 80% in each course to be considered proficient, and the test can be taken as many times as necessary. So course performance then serves as an additional data point to determine which courses were challenging and topics that may need reinforcement throughout the year, because as we know, training is not something that can only happen once a year. It does inform additional trainings that we provide and direct outreach that we will provide throughout the year. Based on a review of the data points we discussed, we focused on 8 topics for FAMU Fundamentals 2024. And that was compliance and ethics, cornerstone topics like the code of conduct, conflicts of interest, privacy, research misconduct, clery awareness, rights, respect, and responsibilities with equal opportunity programs, fraud and internal controls awareness, cybersecurity awareness, emergency management, guiding principles in policy management, and foreign influence, which was only geared toward researchers and research support positions. So you'll note that the last course on foreign influence had a targeted constituency group, and that was because feedback we received suggested that we would need to start including separate tracks that branch off from the core courses. With the moving in that direction, we were able to take advantage of the implementation of several pieces of new legislation that focused on specific segments of higher education in Florida. And I would mention too that these courses, the whole training in and of itself was about 3.5 hours. And that's as much as we will that's the longest we'll go for our training. Each component or course is about 30 to 45 minutes. And we break them up into 10-minute chunks based on best practices on just kind of the information that people can retain and what can keep their interest. Based on additional data points, we recognize that supplemental materials were needed to address requests for resource references beyond the training period and technical assistance. And so this led to the development of the resource library, which started in 2020, but has evolved to a bookmarked PDF, and that has provided ease of access and organization. So participants simply click on the link and it takes them to the resources for that section. Now we're going to shift gears a little bit to some videos. A proven way to bolster participation, of course, as we've learned, is by demonstrating a top-down commitment to training, especially compliance training. So according to the Gartner 2023 Compliance Effectiveness Panel Survey, employees are 139% more likely to understand and prioritize compliance when quality standards are present. So we take our tone from the top, our president, Dr. Larry Robinson, and he provides that tone, and we reiterate expectations throughout the training and resources. So check it out.
Hello, I'm Larry Robinson, president of Florida A&M University. Today I want to talk to you about an essential part of our commitment to excellence and integrity, our annual mandatory compliance training, FAMU Fundamentals. At FAMU, we're not just a community, we are a family united by a shared commitment to uphold the highest standards of compliance and ethics. This commitment ensures that our university operates with integrity, respects the laws and regulations that govern us, and provide an environment where every rattler can thrive. Compliance and ethics are two of the cornerstones of our universities as we continue being one of the top 100 of the nation's best colleges. This concept is not just about following rules, it is about fostering a culture of accountability, transparency, and respect. By following these principles, we create a secure and supportive environment for all members of our community, our students, our faculty, our staff, and stakeholders alike.
So this recording that Dr. Robinson did for us serves as the beginning of every course in FAMU Fundamentals. And so no matter which course a student started out with, they're going to get this commitment and tone from the top. Here is a sample of this year's Compliance and Ethics module produced in partnership with the FAMU School of Journalism and Graphic Communication. So you'll know our commitment to training being FAMU-centric. It provides visibility of staff and expectations. Hello, FAMU. I'm Rika Calhoun, Chief Compliance and Ethics Officer, and you're watching Compliance Chronicles, FAMU Fundamentals Edition. I'm here with Miranda Washington, Compliance Coordinator, and a member of our Compliance News team, bringing you the latest and greatest in compliance and ethics news, making sure our university community stays informed and in line with the highest standards. Today, we've got a lineup that will help you understand your role and responsibilities in the university regarding compliance and ethics and key university functions, have resources to assist you in navigating matters that arise in your workplace, and understand the importance of reporting misconduct. So let's kick things off with the University Compliance Program. Compliance is not just about ticking boxes, folks. It's about fostering a culture of integrity and transparency right here at FAMU.
Our focus on compliance and ethics is underscored in the university's strategic plan, boldly striking, in the area of organizational effectiveness and transformation. The basis of the Compliance and Ethics Program Plan follows the expectations established by the Board of Governors Regulation 4.003, the United States Sentencing Commission, and FAMU's Compliance and Ethics Charter. The program plan incorporates the 7 core recommended elements. Element 1, standards and procedures, requires the university to have an established set of compliance standards and procedures that live and change with the university.
So in this module, we are a news team, and we alternate between being at the news desk to visuals to scenarios and assessment. So we navigate between these different elements to appeal to different learners, and it was really engaging. So as we continue to evolve, we leverage technology, as we discussed, to support design and imagery especially. So shown here is a data privacy map that we created with the use of ChatGPT. So you'll see the different areas that our colleague talks about in the training: potential threats, secure practices, awareness and training, and policy updates. Here's another example of personalized imagery to introduce a section on FERPA. You see the green and orange, that is those are our FAMU colors. So this is how we kind of continue to leverage technology to keep participants engaged. When we talk about the learning loop, we are talking about learning from our experiences and best practices and data, and applying that throughout the year, not just through for example, through the FAMU Fundamentals March 1st to the 31st. So we cultivate buy-in to core topics throughout the year. And so here's a picture of the President's senior leadership team committing to be data privacy champions. The goal is for them to understand expectations and pass that down to their teams. Here's another example of personalized imagery to introduce a section on research misconduct. And a reimagining of Rosie the Riveter as a proponent of integrity. As I mentioned, we work with compliance partners to produce content specific to their areas of expertise. So here is an example of the Division of Audit and their training on fraud and internal controls. This is a snippet.
Hello, and welcome to Campus Fraud Stoppers Special Report. I'm Joseph Malashevsky, Vice President for Audit.
And I am Deidre Melton, your Chief Risk Officer.
And today we bring you an exclusive behind-the-scenes look at the recent arrests and events behind 4 captivating episodes of Campus Fraud Stoppers. Our investigative team has uncovered the truth behind the schemes that shook the university community.
In our first episode, our fraudbusters are hitting the road to unravel a sinister travel fraud scheme that's rocking the university. Join us for Travel Treachery.
Our program begins when university staff report an unusually high number of travel expense claims to the fraudbusters, with some individuals allegedly embarking on lavish trips.
Greetings, Journey Protectors. I'm Detective A.B. Pendergast, the defender of fair travel practices.
And I'm Risky Rita, the risk taker, ready to expose those trying to take advantage of the university's travel program.
Let's end this expedition extortion.
Look at this. Some are claiming luxurious accommodations and exotic destinations. But the receipts seem fishy.
They do. Time to put an end to this travel treachery. These travel plans are more fiction than fact, and someone's profiting from this expedition extortion.
And the trail leads straight to those trying to exploit the university's travel reimbursement system.
Oh, my bad.
Who are you? What are you doing with my stuff? I have a plane to catch to Hawaii.
I'm Detective A.V. Pendergast with the Fraudbusters. Your travel trickery ends here.
Well, so I may have taken a little advantage. I didn't think the university would notice. Everybody does it.
And everyone should play by the rules and not exploit the university's travel reimbursement program.
So I will say that based on post-survey feedback, Risky Rita was one of our most popular characters this year for our FAMU fundamentals. The Division of Audit did a great job. Remember to also use data to facilitate the reward process. So based on our early assessment of completion data, I provide an Excel spreadsheet for managers that has it prints. I download each grade book for each course, and that indicates the proficiency scores for every test taker. And so managers can review that, and it helps them in their internal enforcement of completion of the training. Through that early assessment, we're able to see what departments are on track, what departments are really doing a great job in getting their courses completed early. And POM was one of those. So to encourage completion in other units, we recognize departments who really organize to get the training completed or use innovative ways to reach their staff. So here's an example of an internal community-wide email blast that went out recognizing POM for their efforts. And again, we used AI. So using this learning loop, right? Learning from each iteration of FAMU fundamentals, we've really been able to hone our focus on areas that we know work. And so of course, these are a few. Leadership buy-in, of course, getting that top-down commitment, customization, tailoring your content to various departments and roles, making sure that for us, our content is FAMU-centric. So the people and the strategies and the scenarios that our test takers are seeing, they can relate because they have seen me on campus, for example. Accessibility, ensuring that training is accessible to all. So that means meeting people where they are. Not all constituents are, computer experts and know how to navigate training. And so we have different approaches for those areas that need it. And that includes ADA compliance. So we depend and work with our ADA coordinator to address any concerns that he receives. There's also engagement. So we continue to evolve kind of the strategies that we use to increase engagement. That's gamification, making a competition out of it, providing rewards. This year we actually we created challenge coins. And so for different areas or different accomplishments, those individuals would receive a compliance challenge coin. So these are different ways that we are increasing engagement based on, how well and effective that strategy is. And then ongoing support, providing resources and support beyond that initial training, recognizing that this learning loop doesn't just stop and end on start on March 1st and end on March 31st, right? It's all throughout the year, and providing that support and learning as we go helps us evolve and be better. So continuous improvement is a foundation of our training programs, and it hinges on three fundamental components. First, we establish clear metrics for success. And so these aren't arbitrary figures, but they are drawn from completion rates, our test scores for the courses, and the invaluable feedback from our participants in our post-survey feedback. These are post-training survey feedback. And so these data points guide us and show us where we are and how far we need to go to achieve our goals. For example, our completion rate goals have increased from 75% in 2019 when we didn't have compliance training, we had never had compliance training before, to 90% over the iteration of this year's training. We're currently ranging from 80 to 85% completion in our initial phase before we engage in follow-up. Secondly, we commit to data-driven decision-making. So every piece of feedback, every test score, it becomes a piece of the bigger picture of our training effectiveness. And so this data is not just collected, it's analyzed, it's understood, and most importantly, it's acted upon. We refine our training programs, our course contents, and our delivery methods in response to this data. And that ensures that our approach is not static, but it is dynamic and responsive to real world performance and what we're seeing in the higher education landscape. So for example, this year we will have the added benefit of data used from our latest compliance and ethics culture survey to add to our arsenal of assessment as we pick the next topics to cover for FAMU Fundamentals 2025. Lastly, we delve into case studies that serve as reminders of our journey and lessons learned. And so these are the stories that bring to life the improvements that we've made over the years, which crystallizes kind of our abstract, will this work, can it work, to the concrete. We're also mindful of the experience of our peers, which we benefit from being in the State University system of Florida, where we have wonderful relationships with our sister institutions and our counterparts, and we can learn from each other and keep a pulse on best practices and improvement for our training program. So where is FAMU in the learning loop? As we prepare for FAMU Fundamentals 2025, we are keeping our eye on trends and building on the things that worked this year, including personalization and adaptability. We're going to focus on, expanding our tailored training content to individual roles, experiences, and learning preferences, adaptive learning platforms that adjust the difficulty level or focus based on learner performance, micro learning, of course, breaking down that content into small, easily digestible modules. We focus on about 10 minutes in each chunk. Focus on delivering concise lessons that learners can complete in short time frames. Gamification, so incorporating game design elements like badges, leaderboards, and that increases engagement as well as motivating our units. Use of simulations and role-playing games to mimic real-world scenarios, enhancing practical understanding, like you saw with the Division of Audit. Mobile learning, making sure that compliance is accessible on smartphones and tablets for learning on the go. Artificial intelligence and automation, AI-driven analytics to track progress, predict learning outcomes, and identify areas for improvement. We are going to kind of embrace the idea of using AI to, identify additional trends and continue to help us with design and flow and imagery. Social learning and collaboration, that, platforms that enable sharing of insights, discussion, and peer-to-peer learning. That is something as we talk through, keeping training going throughout the year, having those opportunities for individuals to get together and share their insights and discussions we are called them focus groups. They can be, coffee with a compliance officer. So there are a lot of different opportunities for embracing that as well. Focus on ethics and culture. So, as you heard Dr. Robinson in his video, moving beyond checkbox compliance, right? To make the idea of compliance and ethical decision making a component of your everyday. That really is our goal with our training. Keeping up with regulatory technology so that we can leverage compliance more effectively. Of course, accessibility and inclusivity, and then data security and privacy training. So we have really focused on having an increased focus on data protection, cybersecurity, and privacy laws. So those are kind of the trends that we're seeing and that we're focused on as we develop our next iteration of FAMU fundamentals. So in closing, I wanted to share with you a FAMU compliance commercial that was developed using AI. So this also highlights one of the next focus areas of our office, and that is to work with compliance partners to build parameters and guidance around the use of artificial intelligence. Check it out.
In the heart of Tallahassee, where orange and green pride thrives, integrity takes the spotlight at Florida A&M University. We're a community, bonded by ethical conduct. Students, faculty, and staff promote a culture of honesty and fairness. We cultivate an environment prioritizing ethical behavior. Our commitment to compliance and ethics goes beyond words. It's our collective responsibility, a pledge we uphold daily. At Florida A&M University, we understand that integrity is not a destination, but a journey. Florida A&M University, integrity at every level.
So I am sorry that I couldn't be with you all here today, but I hope that you have gained something from my presentation on Learning Loop and our discussion. Please feel free to reach out to me with any questions or concerns that you might have. And thanks again.
Thank you so much. Loved the presentation, and we loved doing the FAMU fundamentals training, especially the cybersecurity training at engineering. I think we received an email saying engineering did a pretty good job with training people on time. So that was great, and we love that. We love how updated the training gets every year. So thank you so much for everything.
And also, if you need, let me stop sharing. And again, also, if you need to contact Rika anytime about any questions you had about this presentation, this will be her email again. And if anyone is good for the day and got an email, you are free to go.
Thank you. Thank you
You're
for the presentation. Bye.
No problem.